Got beautiful eyes. She's adorable.
As your newborn enters the world, they have special needs. Baby Specialties knows this. As they grow, their needs change. Baby Specialties has brand name furnishings at tremendous savings. Our furniture lines offer matching beds and dressers, so as they get older, you just expand. Baby Specialties grows with the little one you love.
Baby Specialty Superstores in Sherwood Plaza, Route 9, Natick, and at 700 Southbridge Street, opposite Rotman's at the College Square exit off I-290 in Worcester.
Here's some important news from your Mercury dealer.
It's time for your Mercury dealer to clear out the 96 models. So right now, you can get 1.9% financing on a 96 Sable. That's one great rate. That's right, get 1.9% financing for up to 48 months or up to $2,000 cash back on Mercury Sable. But hurry, you've only got until December 3rd to get these big savings.
See your New England Lincoln Mercury dealer.
Imagine yourself in a Mercury now.
All the best brands. The Shoe Store Superstore.
Cruise into Oktoberfest at all Mort's and BB shoe stores. Cross trainers from New Balance, men's and women's, just $44.90. Brave Winter with insulated waterproof boots from Dunham, $69.90. Enter to win a grand prize cruise for 4 aboard the Big Red Boat with air travel provided by 800 Fly for Less. Oktoberfest at Mort's and BB.
The Shoe Store Superstore.
Mort's, Norwood, Worcester, and Salem, Mass., Manchester and Keene, and BB Shoe, Manchester, New Hampshire.
The most important thing for a good night's sleep is support. Now, pretend this board is your back. A sagging mattress won't give you the proper support. It can make you feel like your back is about to... break. That's it. I'm not doing this anymore. It's got to be an easier way.
For Your Family is brought to you by Osco. At Osco, you can count on people who care.
News 4 New England continues.
For your health tonight, sinus infections. This is the time of the year that people prone to sinus infections start having trouble, but it may not have to be that way. Health reporter Lauren Scott has more.
Okay, I'm going to look in your nose.
Jack Politan knows it's fall when he gets his first sinus infection.
You can tell it's a unique kind of pain. You don't feel like working. You don't feel like talking to your wife or your kids. You just want to sit there and hope that the pain goes away.
Sinus infections typically start after you have a cold, and the symptoms are unmistakable. Pressure and pain behind your eyes, cheeks, and forehead, usually with a low-grade fever.
All right, I'm going to go to the other side.
Our sinus passages are no wider than the tip of a pencil, and if they're not draining properly, it's easy for an infection to take hold. There are ways to help prevent this. Use an oral decongestant, such as Sudafed, as soon as you get stuffed up. Avoid alcohol, which dehydrates and can cause congestion. Use a saline nasal spray to keep nose membranes moist, and use a nasal decongestant before airplane flights. If an infection does get started, however, you need to see a doctor.
When you have a cold that lingers for more than 5 to 7 days and your facial pressure increases and you're feeling more and more lethargic and it's just not going away with the over-the-counter remedies, then you may be moving from a cold to a sinusitis.
At this point, antibiotics are needed to help fight the infection, and you often have to take them for 2 to 3 weeks. For some people, surgery to open the sinuses may be next.
Now we're using small telescopes and cameras to go up into the sinuses to go specifically where the problem is and to fix it and do it fairly quickly and painlessly for most patients.
Surgery is always the last resort, but can be a permanent solution to frequent sinus infections. For your health, Lauren Scott, News 4, New England.
Now, dry air also contributes to sinus infections, so using a humidifier at home can provide some help. After our wet and wild weekend, lots of folks have lots of plans this weekend.
Bruce is up next with the forecast we've all been waiting for. Stay tuned.
I take blood pressure medication. Can I take cold pills with that?
Dr. Hoshite, Dr. True.
If you're seeing more than one doctor and taking more than one medicine, there's a risk of a harmful drug interaction. But the Osco computer system checks for interactions automatically. Allergies, too. That's why it makes sense to fill all your prescriptions at Osco. We accept most major insurance plans. We'll save you money, we'll save you worries.
I talked to both your doctors, and
At Osco, you can count on people who care.
always fun to get to know baby animals.
You never know what they're gonna do.
Callie liked my hair a lot more than the bottle.
I think the winner of any baby animal contest would have to be Benny. He was born. I think the winner of any baby contest would have to be me. I think the winner.
That's why your kids, and you too, will love watching Bonkers for Babies, exclusively from Time Life Kids. Jack will introduce your kids to new friends.
You're about to meet North Carolina's first gorilla baby.
Oh, he's kind of shy, but not for long.
One of the greatest pleasures in life is watching a child do what it does best, frolic around.
And there's plenty of that in Bonkers for Babies, specially priced at only $4.99. It's your first Zoo Life video, and it's not available in stores. Every Zoo Life video is packed with lots of animals and lots of fun.
Hi, I'm Jack Hanna. Join me on Zoo Life to learn more about the animals of the world. You ever had a cuss on your head?
And if you order by credit card now, you'll get animal bloopers free.
Trying to do a television show working with animals is tough. On this special edition of Zoo Life, you're going to see some of the funniest, craziest moments of my travels from around the world. Oh, gosh.
But babies are everybody's favorites. So go bonkers for babies. Just call the number on your screen.
There's no doubt in my mind that animals feel love.
Call now.
To order your Bonkers for Babies video, call 1-800-962-8383. That's 1-800-962-8383. Use your credit card and receive your animal bloopers video free. Or send $4.99 plus $3.49 shipping and handling to Zoo Life, Department 4, Richmond, Virginia, 23280.
This portion of News 4 New England is brought to you by your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Bruce Schwegler with weather. News 4 New England.
Good afternoon, everybody. We've got a dry weekend ahead of us, and that's good news. I was out on a bike ride today, did about 10-15 miles on the bike, and some of the roadways along some of the wetlands were closed because of the flooded roadways. But other than that, it was a beautiful day, and a lot of you folks, if you're going to do biking or tennis or golf or what have you, it's going to be a super weekend for that, and even some of the yard sales coming up. You don't have to worry about pulling all the stuff inside when everybody's in the front yard and running for cover from rain. So looks pretty good for those yard sales as well. As we check out temperatures at 65 in Boston, 60 in Worcester, 61 Hyannis, and 60 up in Concord, New Hampshire. A little colder up in Burlington. It's been cloudy across northern New England today, but those clouds are thinning out now. Near 70 right now in New York City. As we look at clouds sliding across the mid-Atlantic states, and look at all that cloudiness out in the Rocky Mountains. That is going to be a whopper of a snowstorm, and about 2 feet should fall in many of the Rocky Mountain locales. In the meantime, around here, we've got a high-pressure area in the eastern Great Lakes, another one well down to the south. That dashed black line is a bizarre trough that has a little bit of moisture running up and then along it straight out to sea, and I expect it to stay there the entire weekend. With that frontal system that's to our north, that'll be fading and actually lifting back northward into Canada. So we're talking cool air up there and the mild to warmer air as you head southward. And our weekend weather is going to feature a good chunk of that nice stuff. Here is the radar showing this precipitation off to our south. But again, this is going to go up like this and go down like that. There are a few showers up in Maine. This really is not to be concerned about, and neither is this, as this is heading up on through the UP of Michigan. So we're right in the slot, and we're talking clear and cool tonight with a light northwesterly wind, the big, almost full Hunter's moon, 47 in Boston, 39 in Worcester and Nashua, 43 Brockton, 44 Hyannis, 48 in Provincetown, 41 up in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and sunny and mild tomorrow after a cool start. Now in the afternoon there will be a cool sea breeze out of the east-northeast at about 5 to 15 miles per hour. So only 60, 62 or so along the immediate coastline, but as you head inland, 65 to 70 degrees. Nashua down through Framingham and Providence, and Worcester quite mild as well. And 63 in Hyannis, 62 in Provincetown. You've got a high tide at 11:27 a.m. If you're hitting the mountains tomorrow, 40 at the northern summits with sunny skies. It'll be in the 40s in the western summits, and a lot of sunshine at that locale as well. So great for hiking weather, and the leaves underfoot, and some of that dampness in the air. Well, it'll smell nice. It'll really spray on to chew up some of that trail mix on the way up to the top too. Cooler along the coast tomorrow, but around 70 at most inland locales. Same story on Sunday. Now, there'll be some high, thin clouds starting to show up Sunday afternoon, and maybe a shower by Sunday night, early Monday morning. Then partly sunny on Monday, still mild. And getting windy out of the southwest, a chance of a thunderstorm late in the day. And on Monday night, a cold front comes through, and it's cooler and drier for Tuesday. So I don't see any big weather problems coming up for this weekend, and in fact, into the first part of next week. And certainly that rain we're looking at on Monday does not look like it's going to be a lot of heavy rain, and that's good news for all the flooded out areas as all the rivers and streams slowly subside. And I stress that. It's like a big sponge, John and Virginia. You know, all these wetlands are nature's way of controlling flooding, and they hold a lot of that water. And in fact, if we didn't have a lot of that sponginess, we'd have even worse flooding than we've had.
And we did get a lot of rain.
Oh, yes, we did.
All right. Thank you, Bruce. A full half hour of news ahead on News 4 New England.
When we return, if you love ATMs, then you will love the latest craze in Japanese convenience.
All vending machines, no human.
With its second sliding door, easy out-roller seats, plus air conditioning and 7 passenger seating, all for a great price. The Plymouth Voyager is pretty attractive.
If you know quality, if you know fashion, then you know Karastan and the Able Rug Company. For a limited time only, Karastan and Able Rug have joined together to offer you 50% off the regular prices of this premier collection of heirloom quality Oriental design rugs and quality wall-to-wall carpeting. See hundreds of styles, thousands of colors on sale at 50% off right now at any Able Rug location in Hanover, Alston, Natick, and Danvers.
WBZ-TV and the Carolus Christie Health System have joined forces to bring you Health Digest, a year-long campaign featuring the latest information about health care. Inside this issue of Health Digest magazine, you'll find valuable articles all about cancer care, plus information on how you can get free medical screenings. Check your mailbox for your free copy of Health Digest magazine. If you don't receive it, please call the Health Digest line at 1-800-838-1644.
If you're looking for something other than football on Sundays, change it to News 4 New England. For some folks, football is always out of season. This fall, Martha Stewart is the answer. When ball games just won't cut it. A double dose of Martha on Sunday afternoons is just what you need if you don't have a rooting hormone. Sundays at 12:30 and 5:30, only on News 4 New England. It's a good thing.
One man haunted by the past.
We've all done things we regret.
Another haunted by what lies ahead.
Somebody killed my partner. I want to know who.
They will risk everything to survive.
3 years is too long to wait.
Give me a chance, for God's sakes.
The critics call it extraordinary, beautifully written, wonderfully acted.
I miss you so much.
Brilliant and A+.
How much trouble are you in?
Ken Olin, Jason Kedrick, Easy Streets, special 2-hour preview, CBS Sunday. Due to adult content, parental discretion is advised.
You're watching WBZ-TV Boston. Next on News 4 New England.
Is it gay bashing or a case of sexual assault? Former Boston City Councilor David Scondras will face charges leveled by a teenager.
The splendid splinter, Ted Williams, comes home to Red Sox country to unveil a new license plate.
And 33 years after JFK's death, a bizarre item is on the auction block. News 4 New England begins now.
With Virginia Cha, John Doherty, Bruce Schwegler, and Bob Newmeyer. This is News 4 New England.
Good evening, I'm Virginia Cha.
And I'm John Doherty. Former Boston City Councilor David Scondras is crying foul tonight.
It's over an indecent assault charge that has been filed against Scondras, even though the 16-year-old who filed the charge failed to appear in court. As we reported to you in August, the allegations stem from an incident in the Back Bay that left Scondras badly beaten. News 4's Sarah Ann Shaw talked to an angry Scondras after today's court action.
This is a gay bashing, nothing more, nothing. I have done nothing wrong to that young man.
That's how David Scondrus reacted to being hit by an indecent assault charge filed by police on behalf of a 16-year-old. Back in August, the boy's father spoke to News 4's Mary Ellen Burns.
Our family's on vacation, and a man approached my son in the hotel lobby and offered him a free ticket to the movie theater Saturday afternoon. And my son went, and while at the movie theater, the man made inappropriate advances and touching in spots that he shouldn't have.
Scondrus says the boy beat him badly, and defense attorneys question why Scondrus is being charged.
It has now reached the stage where prosecution has become persecution. There is absolutely no indication that the young man in this case has any intention of pursuing this case, any recent indication of that.
Not coming
Frank
here.
Jones, who believes Scondrus should file a countersuit, asks why the state's pursuing the case.
There may be some other machinations here, and I speak of political machinations here. Everyone knows Mr. Scondrus' positions on progressive issues in this city. Everyone knows that Mr. Scondrus has stood up for people.
Scondrus, who says he's in constant pain that requires medication, calls the complaint a farce.
There's no one here. The person who is accusing me isn't here. There are no other witnesses.
Members of the Scondrus defense team say they're waiting to see if the young man is going to return to Massachusetts to testify, because if he doesn't, the entire case will have to be dropped. In Boston, I'm Sarah Ann Shaw, News 4 New England.
Now, Boston police are not commenting on today's developments. They say they're just doing their job and that it was the clerk magistrate who determined the charges against Scondrus should be filed.
Separate trials have now been ordered for the two suspects in the Oklahoma City bombing case. The judge's decision in the case is seen as a victory for defendants Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols. The trials are going to be held in Denver because of pretrial publicity. Families of the victims of the bombing are upset because of the financial hardship of traveling to Denver and for two trials. A U.S. military helicopter crashed today in the Persian Gulf. One American crew member was killed, two others are missing. The helicopter was from the aircraft carrier Enterprise. The Seahawk chopper had 12 people on board and was on a routine training exercise when it went down in the northern part of the Gulf near Kuwait. The Justice Department has now launched an investigation into last night's riot in St. Petersburg, Florida. It started when a white police officer shot and killed a black teenage driver. Police say the teen's car lurched forward during a traffic stop as if to run down an officer standing in front of it. The shooting touched off chaos. Stores were looted. 28 buildings were burned in a predominantly black neighborhood. Daylight showed the extent of the destruction. The day after, police are working overtime to keep things under control. There's been no more rioting today.
The Senate showdown here in Massachusetts had a pinch hitter today, and this will be of special interest if you're a Ted Williams fan. Governor Weld says he plans to introduce legislation to establish a Ted Williams vanity license plate. The extra $30 fee goes to cancer research, and cars with the special plate will be allowed to use the Williams Tunnel. But the subject quickly turned to baseball, and Williams acknowledged that as an American leaguer, he has to support the Yankees in the World Series.
I might have bet $5, and that's how I get involved. And you know what? This is the truth. That's maybe happened 50 times in my life, and I don't think I've won 3 of them. Honest to goodness.
Williams also said that if he were eligible to vote in Massachusetts, currently he's a Florida resident, he probably would vote for Weld. Well, preparations are underway right now in the Holy Tabernacle Church in Dorchester for a Get Out the Vote rally, as you can see right here in these pictures. The Reverend Jesse Jackson will be there. He has a good track record of rallying voters from the inner city. He also will be throwing his support behind Senator John Kerry. Now, coming up on News 4 at 6, senior correspondent John Henning will look at how the negative campaigning may be backfiring for these two senatorial candidates. Kerry and Weld will hold their final debate Monday night at Faneuil Hall. You can see it right here on News 4 New England at 7 p.m. Meanwhile, the candidates in the 10th Congressional District hold their first debate tonight. The late-starting Democratic candidate William Delahunt will square off against Republican Ed Tague and Green Party candidate Charles Laws.
A rather bizarre item is on the auction block at Sotheby's this weekend. The stock market ticker tape from the day that JFK was assassinated. The minute-by-minute ticker tape from November 22nd, 1963 begins with routine financial information and then follows with noon stock prices and is interrupted after the 130 Dow Jones averages. It contains an Associated Press report. President Kennedy was shot today, just as his motorcade left downtown Dallas. Mrs. Kennedy jumped up and grabbed Mr. Kennedy. She cried, "Oh no," end quote. The tape is expected to fetch between $1,500 and $2,000 at auction. Much more to come on News 4 New England. A new look at the convenience store, the latest craze in vending machines from Japan.
Also, what Red Sox fan could ever forget this play? A look back at Game 6 10 years ago tonight. Stay tuned.
If you have a news story, we want to hear from you. Call the News 4 New England hotline at 617-783-4444.
The Venturas tried to adopt little Jackie, but the law wouldn't let them. Now she's dead. Follow one couple's desperate struggle in a system they believe failed them. Watch Day and Date.
Monday at 4, News 4 New England.
I like stories. Hometown stories about people. Stories about where we live, where our kids build their dreams. Nothing could be more important.
Watch Liz Walker on News 4 New England.
Okay, what do you demand from a new car?
It's got to have power.
Well, the new 96 Ford Taurus comes with a standard V6 engine. Honda Accord doesn't.
6'4", 290 pounds.
I like a big car.
Room is a major issue.
Ford Taurus has more room than the Accord.
It's got to be a good deal.
And now, Ford just announced 1.9% APR financing or $2,000 cash back on Taurus. And the competition, it has one more thing to worry about. Your New England Ford dealer. The more demanding the customer, the better.
The big events of your life. Getting married, buying a home, having a child. They all require careful planning. You need to be ready for all of life's events.
Happy Father's Day, Daddy.
Whatever they may be.
Call toll-free 1-888-GET-SBLI for low-cost, top-rated life insurance.
Separate houses couldn't keep us apart.
Are you there? Over?
Or separate hiding places.
I'm here. Over.
Not even separate rows in the classroom. But now that we have separate lives, things are different. So I call. Just because we've always had something to say to each other. And we've always found a way to say it.
I never thought anybody would steal my car. My dad always said, use the club, but my car is older, so I thought it was safe. Wouldn't you know it? One morning I look outside and it's gone, stolen. My dad called the police. A few days later we get a call from the police. They said they'd found my car. When I went to claim it, the thief had put a club on it so it wouldn't get stolen again. Well, it won't get stolen again. Now that I have it back, I'm using the club.
Join the police and your local retailers in supporting Community Car Watch Week. The following For Your Health segment is brought to you by the Physicians of the Massachusetts Medical Society. Physicians caring for Massachusetts.
We have breaking news in the News 4 New England now. Louis Lent Jr. has pleaded guilty in New York to second-degree murder charges in the death of Sarah Ann Wood. We'll have much more coming up on this story at 6 o'clock tonight. Virginia?
Well, John, if you love the convenience of ATMs, vending machines, and all those automated inventions that make life a little more convenient, then you'll be interested in what reporter Mei Lee has to say about the latest convenience craze from Japan.
Push a button and out it comes. That's the beauty of a vending machine. And in Japan, beauty is abundant. 5.5 million vending machines in all different shapes and sizes are found in nearly every corner of Japan. Even Mount Fuji has 2 on its peak. The variety of items available via vending machine is endless. Beverages of every kind, including beer, sake, and whiskey. Flowers for the romantic in a hurry. And For the desperate and lonely, vending machines selling pornographic magazines and videos. But for the latest in vending machine technology, try the newest AM/PM Market. It's a fully automated and computerized 24-hour convenience store. All vending machines, no humans. Shoppers can choose from an array of items from noodles and pet food to CDs and underwear. The procedure is simple. Once you've made your choices, punch in the matching numbers at the computer terminal. Then you come over to the cashier, punch in your order number, put in your money, and a few seconds later, out come your items. And you even get your own shopping bag, but you gotta bag it yourself. AM/PM says business has been better than expected. The chain plans to open up 500 more automated stores in the next 3 years.
Convenience stores have been growing in number, but it's been getting more difficult to mind the store 24 hours every day of the year. We wanted to continue the business, but cut costs.
And lower costs mean lower prices for shoppers, an average 5 to 10% lower. But some more valuable items still command top dollar. You have to shell out 2,500 yen, or about $22 US, for the Macarena CD. Mei Lee, CNN, Tokyo.
Just what we need. Red Sox fans may be watching the World Series with more than a little bit of envy these days. The dreaded Yankees are there, not our team. Scott Wally, though, is here with more memories of our day in the big game. Scott?
John, I know some people who have not been able to see that Buckner play replayed ever since that day 10 years ago today. It was October 25th, 1986, a day no sports fan will ever forget. Nobody around here anyway. 10 years ago, the Sox were one strike away from their first World Series title since 1918. We all know what happened. Wild pitch, slow roller down the first base line. Sox were history. We pulled a classic Bob Newmeyer piece out of the archives to relive that day 10 years ago.
Little roller up along first, behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
Sox in the World Series, oil and water, rock and scissors. Oh, they had come close before. 7 games in 1946, 7 games in 67, 7 games in 75. But this New York night represented the first of 2 chances to finally take the Fall Classic. And how sweet it would be to take it away from the New York Mets, that haughty group of big-time, big-name athletes that were never supposed to lose a game, let alone a 4 of 7 series to the upstart Red Sox. But the Bo Sox were swinging free and easy, loving the carefree role of underdogs. When they scored 2 runs in extra innings to take the lead, the World Championship of Baseball was finally at their fingertips. In the bottom of the inning, with 2 outs and no rally in sight, the Shea Stadium message board read, "Congratulations, Red Sox." The corks were 3/4 removed from the spout of chilled champagne. And then it happened.
Okay. Boy, that was tough. And the music, you know, just adds to the whole mood of the thing. You know, Bob Lobel was at Shea Stadium 10 years ago covering this thing and looking on with disbelieving eyes along with the rest of Red Sox Nation. And he will share his thoughts on that fateful game coming up at 6 o'clock. But Liz Walker, I promise you this.
What?
In our lifetime, my dear, in our lifetime, we will be celebrating the big one.
Absolutely.
The big championship. You believe it. I know you believe it in your heart.
I have no doubt about it. We have to continue to look ahead, Scott. That was a great piece, but we have to look ahead.
That's right. What's coming up at 6?
Okay, thanks a lot. Among the stories coming up at 6 on News 4 New England, it happened in an instant. A North Shore woman had just returned to Logan Airport from vacation. She was walking out of the terminal when a driver came out of nowhere. Tonight, maybe you can help police solve this hit and run. Also coming up tonight, your chance to live on Easy Street. A lot of folks in Massachusetts hope to win the big game. You'll understand why people are going wild buying tickets when you hear just how big the jackpot is this week. We'll have those stories and much more coming up on News 4 New England at 6. John in Virginia.
All right, thank you, Liz. Still ahead on News 4 New England. A beautiful fall weekend on tap. Bruce tells us all about it.
Also, it's that time of year again. Time to bring on winter by resetting our clocks.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bruce Schwegler. We're all big winners this weekend. Don't even have to buy a scratch ticket. I'll be back later scratching for you.
All right, our next patient is a 14-year-old female. Take a look. No evidence of fractures. Cranium is intact.
Skull surface appears normal.
This young woman took a serious spill. What do you see?
No contusion, no hematoma. What are we looking for?
Diagnosis.
I see no hairline fracture.
I don't see anything. Exactly. This young woman was wearing a helmet.
A helmet?
This message is brought to you by the Massachusetts Medical Society.
Lincoln Continental, a V8 luxury sedan that has all the right stuff. New for '97 Lincoln Mark 8, a 280 horsepower luxury coupe that takes no prisoners. And Lincoln Town Car, a luxury legend that is recognized as an American classic. Every one of these Lincolns can now be reached at the following number. Exclusively at your New England Lincoln dealer.
I'm John Tierney, and I believe in ladders. Ladders of opportunity, like a good public education, solid job training, affordable health care for everyone, a clean and healthy environment, tax breaks for average people, not corporate giveaways, pensions, Medicare, and Social Security that are there when you need them. These are the ladders that people depend on. And unlike my opponent, Peter Torkelson, I want to make sure that Congress keeps these ladders of opportunity standing.
For years, John Kerry raised Social Security taxes, gas taxes, taxes on seniors' health benefits. Kerry opposed welfare reform and the death penalty even for cop killers. Now the press uncovers that powerful special interest gave Kerry free rent, sweetheart loans, cars.
Had enough. Bill Weld's independent leadership turned Massachusetts around, cut taxes, created jobs, cracked down on deadbeat dads. Bill Weld, he's earned the chance to fight for us in the U.S. Senate.
Time is running out in the sale of all sales. Hey, folks, Town Park and Showcase Isuzu. If you've ever thought about the right time to buy that 4x4, you need to get your butt to Bourne because the weatherman says it's going to be another cold winter. You don't want to get caught without that 4x4, especially when we're discounting over 300 new 96 rodeos, $5,000 off MSRP, or lease a new rodeo with the preferred equipment package, only $119 a month for just 24 months. Don't miss it through this Halloween, folks, the final days. If it doesn't say Showcase, you definitely paid too much.
Bruce Schwegler with weather. News 4 New England.
Hi, everybody. It's Friday, all right, and we've got some great weather coming up for the weekend. And we've got something else coming up for the weekend. On Sunday, well, we've got plenty of sunshine, but we're going to be setting the clocks back. Well, you may be doing this, but some people are involved in a little greater action than just this. Say they work in a jewelry store. You got a whole wall of watches. Now, there's an enviable job. I wonder if folks who work in jewelry stores come in at midnight on Saturday night and start setting all those clocks back. Now, there is a real job. That's sort of like pushing water, isn't it? Lots of work to be done. And we set the clocks back 1 hour on Sunday as we end daylight saving time and go to standard time, Eastern Standard Time. Now, we do have some cloudiness that's streaming northward out of the Gulf of Mexico and hooking around and going like this, and that's going to stay to our south. We've got a big storm developing out here in the Rocky Mountains, and that's going to pump a lot of warmer air and a lot of cloudiness and storminess up into Canada. But the end effect is going to be to keep a good deal of clear sky right here in New England. So we're going to be looking at some fine weather this weekend. I want to show you something else here, and I've received something in from the National Hurricane Center in Miami. This is amazing to me. 2 weeks ago, we were talking about Hurricane Lily. Hurricane Lily is still out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. There it is right there. It has top sustained winds of 90 miles per hour. This is the longest living hurricane I have ever encountered in my life, and it's moving off to the east-northeast toward the Azores Islands, the Azores, and eventually there's a good shot that it's going to move on into Europe, perhaps the UK or Ireland, and on into Western Europe. So this thing is just amazing. The longevity on this hurricane must be taking some of those new hormone pills or something. Unbelievable as we look out to the west and look out to the east, and we see the weather far away but nowhere near our shores. And our forecast for tonight calls for the clear and cool weather with a light northwesterly wind, and with the clear skies, the temperatures will drop off to the mid to upper 40s in the city, upper 30s in Worcester and Nashua, 41 Portsmouth, 44 Hyannis, 43 Brockton, and 48 in Provincetown. And for tomorrow, sunshine, mild weather, nice day, more than likely a cool sea breeze on the coast in the afternoon. Sunday, mild once again, and probably a cool sea breeze once again at coastal locales, but around 70 inland. And these clouds will be advancing late in the day Sunday into Sunday night. So no problems right on through our weekend. No big storms, even on Monday, just some rain shower activity, nothing that's of a threat to our receding rivers at this time. So good news weather-wise, and not good news if you work in a jewelry shop, John in Virginia.
But we watched with your delight at that poor lady having to go through all that case of clocks there, of watches.
But with my fat fingers, can you, but I'd go crazy after about maybe 10 or 20 watches.
So would I.
Be happy that you don't have to do that, Bruce.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Bruce. Anthony Silva is up next with New England Business.
And if you're waiting for someone to come home, we'll be back with a live look at the evening commute. It's moving not too badly. Stay tuned. We'll give you the full details.
$1 a day. That's all Bill Weld wanted to leave nursing home residents out of their Social Security checks. Weld proposed cutting the monthly allowance for basic needs like clothing, haircuts, and personal supplies to just $30 a month, leaving seniors just $1 a day. Then Weld vetoed a law that would have protected the life savings of a couple when one of them enters a nursing home. John Kerry has fought to protect seniors. Bill Weld's tried to leave them with just $1 a day out of their own Social Security checks. Kerry, fighting for us.
They call congressional candidate Ed Tague the phantom of the State House because of Tague's frightening habit of having others cast votes for him. Even more frightening is when this Gingrich Republican does vote, because Ed Tague votes against a woman's right to choose, against protecting drinking water, against student loans and scholarships, against the assault weapons ban, and against taking guns from teenagers. Election day, let's drop the curtain on Ed Tague.
Cruel traps, causing suffering for wildlife and even for family pets.
He was out by himself and he just stepped on a trap. He was almost dead when they found him. They tried to save his leg and they had to amputate it. I just can't imagine not having.
From the Boston Herald to the Berkshire Eagle, the message is clear. Ban cruel traps. Support wildlife reforms. Vote yes on question 1.
This is where we get our health care. This is where Dick Sweat thinks we should get our health care. Dick Sweat co-sponsored a plan to have government take over our health care. It would have created 50 new government agencies and 50,000 new bureaucrats, all paid for by a whopping $71 billion tax increase. The last thing we need is health care from the people who brought us the $600 toilet seat. Dick Sweat. We believe he's too liberal to trust with our money.
Remember the old school committee? Financial scams, indictments, convictions, posturing and bickering that mocked our schools and our children, fistfights, kickbacks, short-sighted policies that scarred our community. On November 5th, let's choose the future over the past.
Our schools have begun to make progress. We've returned accountability to education. Let's keep moving forward.
No on question 2. It's your choice for our children's future. Let's keep politics out of our schools.
Virginia John Dougherty, News 4 New England.
Are you having trouble selling a home? Well, if so, you are not alone.
Anthony Silva is here to tell us why in today's New England business. Hi, Anthony.
You know, what goes up has to come down occasionally. A few reports out this afternoon on home sales are pointing in the same direction. Home sales are down. Here in Massachusetts, sales of older homes in September were off 27% compared to the sales pace of August. And it also seems that selling prices are starting to deflate. Figures from the Massachusetts Association of Realtors show that the average selling price of a single-family home last month was $186,000. That's almost 8% lower than it was in August. Nationally, home sales were off 3%. Analysts say a combination of higher interest rates and fewer homes on the market are the main reasons for the sales sell-off. Well, a company called Genetics Institute is not a school. It is a biopharmaceutical company that develops settlements and re-engineered and bioengineered treatments for cancer, HIV, and other diseases. Well, today, Genetics Institute announced they are expanding big time in Massachusetts. They're going to build a new facility up in Andover. In fact, officials broke ground just a couple of hours ago. This $30 million complex will be completed by next year, and it means new jobs for Massachusetts. Well, if you ever wondered how you'd be able to pay for your college education, we have a suggestion for you. Next Tuesday, Virginia Cha and I will co-host the WBZ Business Breakfast, and we'd like to have you there. Call us or contact us on the email WBZ Business Breakfast, 1170 Soldiers Field Road, Boston, or email WBZ.com. We'll see you next Tuesday at the World Trade Center. That's New England Business. I'm Anthony Silva, News 4 New England.
All right, thank you, Anthony.
The commute into the weekend has begun. Let's see how it's going. Rich Kirkland joins us now. Rich.
Hi, Virginia. I think we're over the hump now. Here's Route 128 in Needham for you. Yeah, slow, but still stretching out very nicely. No big delays here, but very windy. Look at that camera shake a little bit. Downtown Boston traffic getting out's okay. Getting in is slow, though. That traffic heading toward the city, the lights coming towards you, very slow going there. Have a good weekend, everybody. I'm Rich Kirkland, News 4 New England.
All right, Rich, thank you very much. Those are the last of our daylight traffic shots,
That's right, because remember, Saturday night, Sunday morning,
turn the clocks back. It'll be dark at this hour.
It will be.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Stay tuned. News 4 at 6 begins right now.
You're watching WBZ-TV Boston. Next on News 4 New England.
They're rolling through the Bay State, and what they see should help our worst-hit communities. Tonight, the big game's biggest jackpot, and it's not too late to win. And check this out. We'll guide you through your own weekend calendar. News 4 New England begins now.
With Liz Walker, Jack Williams, Bruce Schwegler, and Bob Newmeyer. This is News 4 New England.
Good evening. I'm Jack Williams.
I'm Liz Walker. Here's what's happening. A promise of millions of federal dollars to help Bay State residents recoup from the flooding this week.
Well, that came today from the head of the Federal Emergency Management Agency as he toured our hardest hit communities. You can still see the damage to the Kenmore T station. 4 days ago, the tracks were 10 feet underwater. This was just one stop on today's tour, but things are starting to get back on track on the Green Line. There's full service on the B line and partial service on the E line. And News 4's Beth Germano joins us from Roslindale, which has one of the other stops on today's walkthrough. Beth?
Well, good evening, Jack. This community was certainly glad to see FEMA today. Behind me, the command center here in the Archdale section of Roslindale that's been up and running for a few days now, trying to get basic city services back into this area like gas and electricity. FEMA continued its damage assessment today with tours both here and in Lawrence. The Federal Emergency Management Agency was on the move, getting an earful in Roslindale.
Can you live in your house? I don't know. We have to. Have no place to go.
If you need some help, go over to the community center. There's people there to help you.
Out of houses, into basements that were pools earlier this week. Residents are looking for anything to recover.
All right, thanks.
Michael Lozanne hopes that handshake means help to replace the waterlogged heating unit he lost in his new home.
Let's hope what he says and what these people is going to do for us, let's hope everything will be all right. All right? Because I have 2 kids to take care of.
And that's what we were all working for, is getting them some needed help.
In Lawrence, FEMA and city officials look like the Army marching through. Near the Spigot River, bridges are backed up with muck and debris.
It's all right there? Yeah.
4 days after the floods on Holly and Daisy Streets, crews are still trying to drain basements. 20
25 houses have now been pumped in this neighborhood where the Spigot River once rose as high as some of these front porches. They're looking at least $2 million worth of damage in Lawrence, and that's only a ballpark figure.
These are empty food shelves at the Lazarus House shelter where 6 tons of soaked food had to be thrown out.
And that included food we were beginning to accumulate for Thanksgiving to feed 1,000 families.
If there's a bright light, it's these food donations that have poured in.
FEMA said that we would qualify to get some replacement for food. Our hope is that we can get it in time for Thanksgiving.
Now, in the short term, residents can get either temporary housing or a federal grant to help them with home repairs. It'll be a few days now before FEMA makes a decision on whether to take that a step further and make a major disaster declaration for longer-term recovery and more individual assistance. Reporting live from Roslindale, I'm Beth Germano, News 4 New England. Jack?
Beth, thank you. News 4 will stay with the story. We'll let you know what happens next. Remember, the state has a hotline up and running for anyone in need of help due to the flooding. 1-800-293-4031. 800-293-4031. We also have a follow-up to a story we first reported on Wednesday. Due to flooding in the basement, Winchester High School is closed until further notice. Parents are asked to bring their kids to the McCall Middle School auditorium on Monday at the following times: 9th graders at 9, sophomores at 10, juniors at 11, and seniors at noon. There, they will learn the plan, and they'll be taken to the high school to get their belongings. Everyone will be bused home on Monday afternoon. Now, if you have any more information that you need, simply call the Winchester School officials, and that's at 617-721-7020. The Callahan School in Lynn also is closed because of flood damage. Administrators plan to meet Sunday night to determine when that school will open, and we'll let you know what they decide.
Breaking news from New York State, in a serial murder case, it winds its way back to Western Massachusetts. Louis Lent Jr. has pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in the Sarah Ann Wood case. Wood was a preteen girl from a small town west of Albany who disappeared in August of 1993. Her body is yet to be found despite an extensive search. Louis Lent of North Adams previously admitted guilt in the disappearance and death of another child, Jimmy Bernardo of Pittsfield. Lent is currently serving jail time for attempting to kidnap a Pittsfield girl in 1994. He faces life in prison in the Bernardo case. A North Shore woman and her family are asking for your help tonight. They want to find the driver of a car that hit Dorothy Weiner at Logan Airport and then drove off. News 4's John Doherty found out how it happened.
We were just about to cross the crosswalk from Northwest Terminal to where the van was, and suddenly from nowhere came these humongous bright lights.
And seconds later, this active retired school teacher had become the victim of a hit-and-run driver. It was Tuesday night, October 8th. Dorothy Weiner and her husband had just returned to Logan from vacation. They left Terminal E, heading for their shuttle van.
They were walking across the street to get into the shuttle, and I was going back to pick up the other bags. And as I was going back, I saw this car from the corner of my eye going very fast. The next thing I knew, Mark was down on the ground, my wife was up in the air, and she came down and hit the pavement face down.
Weiner suffered head injuries, her left leg and ankle broken, but if the driver had stopped...
She was bruised on her body, but it was the fact that the car stopped and then went over her leg, which really got me upset.
Certainly had knowledge of what transpired, and then after they stopped and looked, left the scene.
And witnesses have given police a description of the car.
Which was a large white vehicle with a brown roof, possibly a Pontiac Bonneville, a mid-'80 model.
There are a lot of unknowns in this case, exactly what the car looked like and who was behind the wheel. But one thing is for sure, the driver knew he or she hit Dorothy Weiner.
I keep seeing this. I've had nightmares about this. It was the worst nightmare of my life.
Well, it's unconscionable. I mean, there's no other word for it, you know. He or she has to live with himself or herself, as the case.
Dorothy Weiner says her leg will heal whether the driver is found or not, but finding him would certainly help the process. John Doherty, News 4, New England.
State police are asking for your help. Again, this accident happened outside Terminal E at Logan, Tuesday, October 8th, about 9 p.m. If you have any information, please call police at 617-567-2233. That number again, 567-2233. Richard Rosenthal's defense team is trying to convince a Cambridge jury that their client is insane. In dramatic testimony today, Rosenthal's father testified. Rosenthal admits to the murder of his wife, Laura, in their Framingham home. Prosecutors argue the killing was premeditated. But in making its case for insanity, the defense brought Irving Rosenthal to the stand today. The father says his son didn't seem to recognize his own parents, and that was right after the murder.
He didn't believe that we were his parents. Our bodies probably were taken over by aliens was his explanation for it, and that he couldn't be too sure that we were his parents. He still doesn't believe it to this day that we are his actual parents.
A defense team psychiatrist says Richard Rosenthal is a delusional psychotic, even though he can appear to function normally at times. News 4, of course, will continue to cover this trial next week.
Former Boston City Councilor David Scondrus, badly beaten in an incident involving a 16-year-old boy, tonight is charging that he is the victim of a political witch hunt. In his first public comment since the incident, Scondrus erupted in anger after a clerk magistrate ruled an indecent assault charge against Scondrus will not be dropped.
This is a gay bashing, nothing more, nothing. I have done nothing wrong to that young man.
That young man from Washington State did not show at today's hearing, leading Scondrus to believe that the indecent assault charge against him is an act of revenge by the Boston Police Department.
It's political. It's simply payback for the work that I did on the city level. Some of it trying to get homophobia to end in the police department.
Prosecution has become persecution. There is absolutely no indication that the young man in this case has any intention of pursuing this case.
Scondrus says he's been in excruciating pain since the beating. Photographs released by his attorney show the brutality of the attack, resulting in a broken nose, broken jaw, and numerous bruises. It's unclear exactly what happened between Scondrus and a teenager at this Back Bay theater in August. The 16-year-old claims that Scondrus fondled him, but Scondrus says it's a case of gay bashing.
Just think about the kind of beating that was administered here. It's not the first time he's done this kind of thing, you can tell.
I think the complaint's a joke. It's a farce. There's no one here. The person who is accusing me isn't here.
Scondrus is due for arraignment in December. If the 16-year-old remains a no-show, Scondrus' attorney says the charges most likely will be dropped. Well, there's no word why the teenager involved did not show up at today's hearing. A Boston police spokesman refused comment on Scondrus' charges, saying only that it is the police department's job to present the necessary evidence.
Now the Senate showdown. It's gotten mean this last week, and all that negativity may be taking a toll. So Bill Weld and John Kerry are both focusing on the positive tonight. News 4 senior correspondent John Henning is standing by at a Get Out the Vote rally in Dorchester. John?
All right, Liz, it's not mean here. You just missed some great gospel singing at the Holy Tabernacle Church here in Dorchester. This is the latest stop in the Jesse Jackson Get Out the Vote tour. And for John Kerry, it's a bit of an oasis in a negative campaign. It's a positive stop for him because most of this week he's been answering questions about whose apartments he used and how much rent did he pay for them in the mid-1980s. Governor Weld also started his day on a positive note thanks to the presence of a sports legend at a press conference at the State House.
I'm an American leaguer, and it's hard for me to pull for the Yankees.
The splendid Splinter, betting on the Yankees this week, and saying nice things about our Governor Weld, who's in a kind of political World Series.
All right, look at that. Great.
The 78-year-old Hall of Famer was at the State House to help unveil a new Ted Williams license plate, which will help raise money for children's cancer research. The governor was only too happy to bask in the reflected glory of the legendary hitter, and even brought a picture of his prize fish catch to impress Williams, a fisherman himself.
Good-looking trout. Woo!
It's one of those state stock.
No.
But the positive glow left the room with Williams, and Weld was questioned again and again about the negative turn of the campaign. And a Herald poll showing a bit of a backlash for Weld's attack on Kerry's use of influential friends' apartments, paying little or no rent.
That's what the headline in the paper said, but nobody's coming up to me and saying, you know, you jerk, you didn't take a free house. So I'm not sure people are that People don't seem upset with me about the story. It was a newspaper story. It was not something that we raised, although believe me, if we'd known about it, we would have raised it.
In an interview with Liz Walker to be aired next week, Kerry said he hopes this negative phase of the campaign ends quickly.
I want to see us talk about the future and the important issues of the time. We have 11 days left, and, you know, let's go at it the right way.
Back at the Holy Tabernacle Church in Dorchester for this Get Out the Vote rally with Jesse Jackson and John Kerry in attendance. What John Kerry is hoping for may not happen. Governor Wells says he's going to start positive ads about himself next week. But right now, Liz, this campaign is being poll-driven. If the Well campaign finds that the polls show that the attacks on Kerry are working, those attacks will continue. And Weld also says he's going to court next year to try to stop Kerry from lending his campaign $900,000. So this could get even tougher than it is now. It's in the negative phase of the campaign, and it could be taken to another level, Liz, if the polls show that this is working for Weld. If they show it's not working, then he'll back off. If they're working, he'll continue the attacks on Kerry. I'm John Henning, live with the music here at the Holy Eucharist Baptist Church, Holy Eucharist Church in Dorchester. Liz, it's loud here, and they're having a good time.
Okay, John, thanks a lot. The Senate candidates' final debate is this coming Monday. You can watch that here on News 4 New England at 7 p.m. And our interview with John Kerry will run next Friday at 6.
Now, much more ahead on News 4 New England. Here are some of the stories coming up. A Boston City Councilor is a big winner. Think this is about politics?
Well, Marjorie Clapper had asked me to take her out to dinner. And I said to her, certainly, we'll go to McDonald's. You and I, okay, Margie?
Have you been playing the big game? You may start when you hear about tonight's huge jackpot.
Some things you just don't ever forget, like your child's birthday or the day of the Buckner Air exactly 10 years ago today.
Here comes Knight and the Mets win it!
Bob Lobel has an emotional look back when the entire Red Sox nation cried.
Coming up on News 4 New England.
I'll check it out. You need suspension work. Better see the experts at Meineke.
Now, buy any Gabriel gas shock or gas strut at Meineke's regular low price and get the second one at 25% off. At Meineke, you're not going to pay a lot, but you'll get a lot.
I guarantee it.
Something shocking has arrived at your New England Pontiac dealers. The new 97 Pontiac Grand Am GT is here with a shocking list of equipment. Anti-lock brakes, dual airbags, air conditioning, automatic transmission, and cassette. And now, for a limited time, Grand Am is available with $750 cash back. The 97 Grand Am GT. With an offer this hot, you better strike fast. See your New England Pontiac dealers.
Time is running out. You have just hours for the incredible carpet bargains at New York Carpet World's once-a-year total warehouse clearance. Just a few more hours for Stainmasters from $7.29. Just a few more hours for crush-resistant styles, 70% off. Just a few more hours for hundreds of $18 to $21 carpets, all just $6.97. Huge carpet savings with credit-free for a whole year. Don't miss New York Carpet World's once-a-year total warehouse clearance, only till Saturday night.
WBZ-TV and the Caritas Christi Health System present a Health Digest Minute on prostate cancer.
Older men are often anxious about prostate cancer. It rarely strikes men under 40, but accounts for 80% of the cancer in men over 65.
All men 40 and older should get checked for prostate cancer yearly. The sooner it's found, the better.
Today there are several treatment options, including implanting tiny radioactive seeds in the prostate.
Computer imaging and ultrasound help place the seeds with pinpoint accuracy. The procedure is very effective, and there are no serious side effects.
Health Digest is brought to you by WBZ-TV and the Caritas Christi Health System, working together to improve health in Massachusetts. The Caritas Christi Health System offers free prostate cancer screenings. Please call 1-800-838-1644 for further information.
Meineke keeps cars of all ages running like new.
Mufflers, brakes, shocks, and struts. High-quality parts and service at a reasonable price.
Too bad they can't do anything about this 1949 classic.
At Meineke, you're not going to pay a lot, but you'll get a lot.
I guarantee it.
Jack Williams, Liz Walker, News 4 New England.
We're just now getting information on a late-breaking story. A plane has crashed, apparently, near Sheffield, Massachusetts. That's near the Connecticut border. The plane went down on the Housatonic River. We don't know, excuse me? It's a small plane. We don't know how many people are actually on board that plane. We're now trying to get more information for you. Again, they went down in Sheffield, Massachusetts, near the Connecticut border in the Housatonic River. It is a small plane, and that's all the information we have so far. Well, one crewman is dead. 2 others are missing after a U.S. Navy helicopter plummets from the sky. A chopper went down in the Persian Gulf in Dubai. The aircraft was part of a contingent that arrived in the Gulf on September the 19th. The Seahawk chopper, like the one seen here, was based on the aircraft carrier, the USS Enterprise. Navy officials say there is no evidence the helicopter was the target of any hostile action. 9 other people who were on board the chopper are being treated on the aircraft carrier now.
We will see 2 trials in the Oklahoma bombing case. A judge ruled today that Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols should face separate trials. Both men are charged with planning the bomb that killed 162 people inside Oklahoma City's federal building 18 months ago. Police and residents of St. Petersburg, Florida are trying to piece together just what happened last night to touch off rioting in a mostly black part of the city. Police shot and killed a black teenager who was pulled over by officers. Police claim the car lurched forward as if to run over one of the officers. Crowds reacted, throwing rocks and police at reporters and burning buildings.
We will deploy extra people to handle our normal workload and then have teams that are ready to respond should there be any incidents that require a beefed up response.
Now, calm did prevail today, but the remains of last night's destruction, shocking sight. The Justice Department has started an investigation into the shooting and the riots. Florida Governor Lawton Chiles put state police and the National Guard in the Tampa-St. Petersburg area on standby today.
Well, back at home, veteran city councilor Dapper O'Neill strikes it rich with 1 scratch of a lottery ticket. The politician took home 50 grand. Dapper says he's an avid lottery player, scratching a couple of tickets every day. O'Neill will gladly take the lottery money, but he's not too happy about sharing his winnings with the government.
Well, when I went down there, I was very surprised, and I'm not weeping. I'm very happy. $16,500 in taxes for the feds. The state hasn't taxed me yet, so that'd probably run about 4. So now right off the bat, they get half of it in Massachusetts.
Dapper's stroke of luck, however, will leave him with about 33 grand in his pocket. He says he's going to pay off a few debts, and then he's going to use the remainder in his campaign for Suffolk County Sheriff.
The second biggest lottery prize ever available in Massachusetts, $36 million, is up for grabs tonight. But it seems a lot of people haven't paid attention to the lottery's newest game. But News 4's Susan Davidson found that with the big money jackpot, there's finally some interest in the big game.
Hello, everyone. Hey, Lotto Man. The big game.
That fearless caped crusader, Lotto Man, was out and about today, hyping tonight's $36 million big game drawing.
It's very busy today. We're giving away the balloons, and everyone's really excited about the jackpot tonight.
And what a jackpot. Folks lined up early, hoping to turn quick picks into quick cash.
I think I'd buy a vacation home, maybe take a trip around the world, new car.
Pay off all the bills and maybe retire a little bit.
Because I want to win. I don't want to work anymore.
The 6-state big game is Massachusetts' answer to Powerball. Around only since September, it has taken a while to catch on.
Yeah, most people weren't aware of it at all, but the past couple of weeks, people are playing, and they're playing more than one ticket.
The big game may have gotten a slow start, but tonight, sales are coming in at a rate of 2,000 to 5,000 tickets a minute. David Quinn, a local painter, can now paint the town after winning $150,000 last week in the big game. He's playing again tonight.
With $36 million, are you going to be back painting houses?
Oh, no. Done with painting. Done very quickly.
Maybe finish painting our own house, but no more painting for work.
$36 million for tonight anyway. It's okay to think big. In Randolph, I'm Susan Davidson, News 4, New England.
Stay tuned to News 4. Tonight at 11, we'll show you the winning number right after it is drawn.
How much was that? 36
million, and there's still time to get tickets.
No. All of those I've purchased. I've never been able to hit even one number.
No.
Forget the whole sequence of numbers.
I know. I can't figure it out, Jack. Go figure.
Well, I would. Well, I tell you, if I knew that one, would I take off? All right, Bruce, let's see if we have $1 million forecast for us.
Yes, we do. We've got a good deal of sunshine. I know this for a fact because I've called Lotto Man. Details coming up.
Hang 10 in the 132 horsepower, 16-valve, overhead cam, four-wheel independent suspension, cab forward, gnarly Dodge Neon Coupe. Dude, say hello to Dodge Neon at your friendly Dodge dealer.
I think a Walmart MasterCard sounds fantastic.
Walmart has a credit card? Absolutely. We've done the Walmart card the Walmart way.
It's just a credit card with low interest. It's simple. A fixed low interest rate is perfect.
And with the holidays coming, I could really use this card. It's a Walmart card, but you can use it wherever they take MasterCard.
You can't always pay it off at the end of the month, so of course, low interest rate helps enormously.
We've always tried to save people money, and this is just one more way to do it.
Call now for your no annual fee Walmart MasterCard from Chase.
I'm so surprised that we didn't offer this card years ago. We should be ashamed of ourselves.
The all-new Camry is here, and it's a better value than ever with more room, more power, standard anti-lock brakes, and a price that's less than last year. Or you can save on Toyota's full-size Avalon, but you'll have to come in now during the invitation celebration at your New England Toyota dealer.
Simply the best.
Hurry, the invitation celebration ends October 31st.
McDonald's new Crispy Chicken Deluxe with an all-white meat breast filet, fresh lettuce, and tomato on a bakery soft roll. It's a grown-up reminder that you're never too old to drool. It's McDonald's with a grown-up taste. Now, with 50% more tender filet than before, McDonald's new Fish Filet Deluxe is sure to satisfy your grown-up needs and desires. For lunch. It's McDonald's with a grown-up taste.
Here's some important news from your Mercury dealer.
It's time for your Mercury dealer to clear out the 96 models. So right now, you can get 1.9% financing on a 96 Sable. That's one great rate. That's right, get 1.9% financing for up to 48 months or up to $2,000 cash back on Mercury Sable. But hurry, you've only got until December 3rd to get these big savings.
See your New England Lincoln Mercury dealer.
Imagine yourself in a Mercury now.
This portion of News 4 New England is brought to you by Crandall Hicks, distributors of Aaron Snow Throwers.
Bruce Schwegler with weather. News 4 New England.
Hi, everybody. This is the weekend we do it. Clocks, watches, Big Ben. Setting them all back 1 hour, fall back. And, you know, we may think it's a chore with a few of the clocks in the house, but how about this lady? How about in the jewelry stores across the region, the clock shops? There's a little bit of a task for you. And not only do you set your clock back, but maybe you want to change your battery as well. Change your clock, change your battery. The batteries in your alarm systems in your house. For instance, the smoke alarm, the carbon dioxide alarm. Might want to check that out. And check this out. We've got clear skies right now. Temperatures are still in the 60s with a northwesterly breeze, and the barometer is rising. 60s and 50s across most of the region, up around 70 in western and southwestern New England today, still in the mid to upper 60s in New York City. As we take a look at a lot of cloudiness, big storm is winding up in the Rocky Mountains, going to pummel them with a foot or two of snow. In the meantime, we have some cloudiness arcing up and off the mid-Atlantic coastline. That should not be a problem for us either. We get this lucky sunny slot, and it's going to be expanding. As we come in closer to home, we check out a high-pressure area to our west, also to our south. And we've got cool air coming down across far northern New England. But that's going to start fading and going by the boards as this nice slot expands. Farther to the south, it's mild. to warmer air that's coming northward. But again, it's going to ride up and out like this. We can see that with the radars as well. We have quite a bit of rainfall down through the Mississippi River Valley, but this rainfall should take that same track and head off to the east. So our forecast for tonight calls for that big, almost full moon, cool temperatures, northwesterly breeze. It'll be in the mid to upper 40s in the city, mid to upper 30s Worcester and Nashua, around 40 Brockton, lower 40s Hyannis, milder in Provincetown, and on the cool side across southern New Hampshire. For tomorrow, plan on sunshine. A beauty after a cool start. A light northwesterly wind, more than likely kicking into a cool sea breeze in the afternoon. High temperatures around 60 on the coast, or just into the 60s. But as you move further inland, 65 to 70 from Nashua through Framingham down through Providence. Even in the low to mid 60s in Worcester. Got a high tide in the morning. And if you are heading up into the mountains, plenty of sunshine north and western summits. 40s at the western summits and around 40 at the northern summits. And along the coast, there are going to be a lot of folks getting that last run in their boat. Their bottoms wet. Well, we've got a high tide in the morning, a low tide later on in the afternoon. That northwesterly breeze, again, simmering down, maybe going into the northeast. Seas 2 to 3 feet, excellent visibility. Seas 1 to 3 feet on the south coast. So a pretty decent boating day coming up as well. As we check out the next 4 days, there it is, sunshine. Cooler on the coast, around 70 as you move 5 or so miles inland. And we continue on with the same story as we move on right on through the remainder of the weekend. Around 70 on Sunday, but again, cooler near the coast. Some high thin clouds later Sunday. And Sunday night into Monday, it'll be milder, and there could be some showers, perhaps even a thunderstorm later on Monday under partly sunny skies. Still mild. And then it cools off and it's drier on Tuesday. So we've got a fine weather weekend, which is about time, because last weekend, as you remember, was, whoa, turn it off.
It has been awful. I tell you, today was delightful. What a great Friday.
Beautiful. Did about 10, 15 miles on my bike through the all the leaves and smelling all the wet leaves and seeing some of the flooded roads. It was really a fun ride today.
Nature man, we call him.
I know.
Thank you, Bruce.
Lotto man, not
Lotto
nature man.
Give me the numbers.
Here are some of the stories that you will see in the next half hour of News 4 New England. November 22nd, 1963, the day a nation mourned. 33 years later, a bizarre JFK auction that marks the day of his assassination.
Where were you when this happened? The hopes and dreams of Boston sports fans gone with this one play exactly 10 years ago today. Bob Lobel with an anniversary special.
Just who's the real mother here? Her or her? You won't believe it until you see the entire family together.
Coming up on News 4 New England.
No matter how mild the winter sky may appear, you know what those clouds will hold. So get ready with the powerful Aaron's two-stage snow thrower. They're the hardest working, most durable snow throwers you can buy. Available with 6 forward speeds, 2 reverse, and an exclusive 5-year warranty. So get ready, because it's coming.
Aaron Snow Thrower is available at Bernard Small Engine, Manchester, New Hampshire, and Plymouth Agway, Plymouth.
It's family days at my Ford dealer, and I spent the whole morning getting ready. Worked on my game plan, the audibles. 1, check, 2 airbags.
Hey, Drew, during family days, it's easy to get what you want. Like the best lease offer of the year on Explorer. For only $274 a month, lease a nicely equipped Explorer with a powerful V8 engine, only at your New England Ford dealer.
Whoa, I think he's ready for the test drive.
What's new at Spooky World?
Everything. Blast to the future on the all-new time travel hayride. It will blow you away. Are you brave enough to explore the dark underground passages of the Phantom Mine Shaft? You may never make it out alive.
Step right up and enter Cirque Macabre, a frightening labyrinth of circus fear.
Ride the new rides. Feel the new excitement at the all-new Spooky World. This week at Spooky World, meet rock legend Alice Cooper.
It's America's horror theme park, Spooky World.
What's the latest from the WBZ Weather Watchman? What's the Boston temperature and New England's forecast?
The news you need, the team you trust.
News
News 4 New England was proud to walk with you again for women's safety.
There is hope here.
Let's work together against domestic violence for as long as we have to.
It's the final days of the sale of all sales at Showcase Isuzu. Hey folks, I'm Tom Park, and if you're waiting for the perfect time to buy that 4x4, get your butt to Bourne. Over 200 brand new 96 Troopers are discounted $8,000 off MSRP. You know, you can lease a brand new 96 Trooper with the preferred equipment package, only $119 a month for just 24 months. They must go. But again, these are the final days through this Halloween, so make the short drive to Route 28 in Bourne, because if it doesn't say Showcase, you definitely paid too much.
News 4 New England continues.
Where do you go to get movie times, theater openings, breaking news, weather, traffic, if you're not near the old television set and if you can't find a newspaper?
Well, if you're online, Jack, you can get it in seconds. News 4's Suzanne Bates shows us what Boston.com has to offer and 4 on the web. Our partners are the Boston Globe and their super website, Boston.com.
I like to call them cyber reefer lines.
Andy Zellman from the Boston Globe is in charge of new media. The Globe is using the internet to give readers more information.
At the top of the business page every day, you can see that if you want updated market quotes and business news, we send you to Boston.com.
In the paper every day, you'll see lots of boxes like these that refer you to the Globe or other sites on the internet.
What we've done is aggregate as much information from around New England, all the best content there is from the internet, and put it in one place where people can find it easily.
The most popular stuff in Boston.com is the most dynamic stuff. It's
on the front page of Boston.com, you see they have areas for jobs, entertainment, news, and a lot more. And you can type in a keyword to find what you need.
And our keywords include everything from WBZ to the MFA. This is an exhibit we built for them on the Gauguin exhibit.
You can get stock quotes updated every 15 minutes.
You just come in and enter the name of the company that you're looking for.
And there it is.
Yeah.
Your stock is down.
Unfortunately, story of my life.
How else could you use Boston.com? Let's say you're looking for a house. In the Globe, you find a 3-line description of a house in Newton. But online, you can search for all the homes in Newton in your price range, get a full description of that home, see a picture of it, find out what other homes sold for last year. Information you can't easily obtain any other way. The World Wide Web is much like it's like a public library with books that have all just been thrown in there, and they're not indexed very well. So Boston.com takes all of that wonderful information that you can find on the World Wide Web, especially from New England, and puts it together in some way that people can find quickly what they need.
The address is www.boston.com. Check out their directory for what you can find there. Suzanne Bates, News 4 New England.
Boston.com and the Boston Globe will be our partners for many upcoming stories on the internet. You'll be able to catch our internet stories every Monday night at 6 and Tuesday morning on News 4 New England. Have you bought a house on the web or found a job on the internet? Well, we'd like to hear from you if you have. You can contact us at www.boston.com and use the keyword on the web. And Monday at 6, we'll show you how you can grocery shop online, which is an idea that I actually like. I know.
Boston.com. Got it.
I know. Well, now the Braves and the Yankees aren't playing tonight?
No, they're not. First time in 6 nights. You know, we're living in the past and the present tonight. We're going to, you know, as we're reliving these painful memories of 10 years ago, we're also savoring a great World Series between the Yankees and Braves, which takes a bit of a respite tonight. But,
okay, so we're going to look
they got
back.
a great one going.
And we're going to look back.
And to the future, Liz. Always to the future as well. That's the way we are here.
All right, Scott Wally in the world of sports, looking back and forward in just a minute.
We know this is probably the last thing you want to think about right now. So don't. Think about this. Jeep Grand Cherokee for only $349 a month. Or Jeep Cherokee Sport now just $299 a month. Both have Jeep's legendary four-wheel drive system to get you through the deepest snow. So head over to your local Jeep and Eagle dealer today to take advantage of these deals. Then you won't ever have to think about this again.
See your New England Jeep and Eagle dealers.
I never thought anybody would steal my car. My dad always said, use the club, but my car is older, so I thought it was safe. Wouldn't you know it? One morning I look outside and it's gone, stolen. My dad called the police. A few days later we get a call from the police. They said they'd found my car. When I went to claim it, the thief had put a club on it so it wouldn't get stolen again. Well, it won't get stolen again. Now that I have it back, I'm using the club.
Join the police and your local retailers in supporting Community Car Watch Week.
Witness the most spectacular sunrise in the world. You won't find it in the desert or on the boardwalk. Only here, greet the Mohegan Sun, a casino unlike anything you have ever imagined. Step into a bold new world where every detail is designed for the ultimate in non-stop excitement. Come, find your place in the sun. Discover the Mohegan Sun Casino, now open, 1 mile off Interstate 395 in Uncasville, Connecticut.
How can the Home Depot help you?
We have people there who can give you ideas.
Everybody's friendly, helpful.
Mrs. Smith, how are you today? Fine, how are you, Rick?
Can I direct you somewhere else? Can I take you to another department?
When you come into Home Depot with one idea, you walk out with 2 or 3 ideas.
Come on in. Call us. We'll help you.
All you have to do is ask.
The Home Depot, where low prices are just the beginning. Beautify your kitchen with Mills Pride cabinets. There's several models and styles at the guaranteed low price every day at the Home Depot.
Wake up, world. Hyundai's a whole new car company. You won't listen to me? Then read. Educate yourself. Car and Driver says the Elantra wagon's engine is gutsy. It's actually fun to drive. And a 5-year limited powertrain warranty says reliable, reliable, reliable. Now you've got a very short time to catch on here, because right now this sexy Suburbanite is under 10 grand. This is what Hyundai looks like today, people. Now, are you ready to get in and drive this baby? Get in the car. Now.
Sports with Scott Wally. News 4 New England.
All right, after playing 5 straight nights, the Yankees and Braves take the night off tonight before getting back to business tomorrow in the Bronx for Game 6 of the World Series. Tell you, we could all use a breather. This has been a wild series to this point. And last night was another thriller as the Yanks' Andy Pettitte outdueled John Smoltz to put the Yankees up 3-2. Smoltz was unhittable. He's been the best pitcher in baseball this year. He went 8 innings, striking out 10, walking 3. He did not give up an earned run. But matching him pitch for pitch was the 24-year-old Pettitte, whom we expect will win the American League Cy Young Award. And the youngster had the Braves hitters off balance all night.
Smoltz and he pitch for pitch. There shouldn't have been a loser tonight, period.
He's hitting 250.
We said that. Only 1 run scored in this game, and it was unearned. 4th inning, Charlie Hayes drives it to right center. Marquise Grissom and Jermaine Dye. Confusion out there. The ball falls in. Hayes ends up on second. 2 batters later, big Cecil Fielder comes to the plate, and he lines the Smoltz pitch into the left field corner for a double. Hayes scores easily, and the Yankees led it 1-0. And they held that lead as Pettitte was just superb. He got bombed by the Braves in Game 1, but last night he came back strong as the Yankees upped their road postseason record to 8-0. And they have 2 chances to finish off the Braves in the Bronx this weekend.
I just love pitching, and I wanted to just have another opportunity and not finish the year, you know, the way that I did. So I was just excited to be able to get back out there and pitch, and talking, you know, to Mel and Joe, and just relax and go out there and pitch the way I know how, and hopefully things would work out for me, and they just did tonight.
In a follow-up to a story we first brought to you last week, Frank Torre, the brother of Yankees manager Joe Torre, underwent successful heart transplant surgery today. How's that for, you know, timing on the off day, right? It was performed by doctors at Columbia Presbyterian Medical Center. They say Frank Torre's doing beautifully. He was a big leader with the Milwaukee Braves, you know, even a teammate with his younger brother Joe for a time. Frank Torre will be able to watch tomorrow night's 6th game from his hospital bed, and the doctor who performed the surgery said that Torre is much better off watching the game with his new heart than with his old one. That is great news, and it's certainly a big lift for brother Joe. A big game Sunday night in Foxborough. The 4-3 Patriots play the 5-2 Bills. A Patriots win coupled with a Colts defeat could put New England in a tie for first place in the AFC East. This is a different team than the one that we're used to seeing in Buffalo. Their once high-powered offense has been struggling of late. But as Alice Cook tells us, the Patriots know how dangerous those Bills can be.
This is Buffalo. It's the official ice box of the NFL.
Actually, it was more like a wet sponge the last time the Patriots were there. That was 7 weeks ago. And since then, the Bills have played well enough for a share of the lead. So why is it they still get no respect?
There's no Bills. What? No Bills?
I kind of laugh because every year it just seems like,
either the fans or the media or whatever, it's, you know, it's the Bill. What's the matter with the Bill? But they're always in the picture.
Buffalo no longer relies on that frenzied, hurry-up, no-huddle offense. They've slowed things down considerably, and suddenly it's their defense making all the noise.
They got a very strong defense, good defensive line, good linebackers, good all-around playing. But, you know, it's going to be a dogfight, and that's what we're preparing for right now.
The Bills have eked out some close ones, including last week's squeaker against the Jets. Something's up when Jim Kelly has thrown for only 2 touchdowns in 7 games.
You ever see those Western movies where they shoot the guy, and then they have to shoot him about 7 more times to make sure he's dead? Because even though they know he's dead, they just shoot him again? That's the way it is with Kelly. Somebody's going to have to shoot him about 6 more times.
And with the right ammunition, the Patriots just might find themselves with a share of first place, which should be plenty of incentive to come out firing on Sunday. Alice Cook, News 4, New England.
All right, Ellie, thanks a lot. We should warn you the following story does contain some graphic pictures. It was without question the most traumatic game in Boston sports history. No New Englander will ever forget where they were or how they were feeling 10 years ago today. This is the anniversary of Game 6 of the 1986 World Series. The Red Sox one strike away from their first World Series title since 1918, lost a heartbreaker to the New York Mets at Shea Stadium. Bob Lobel was at Shea that night, and he looks back now at a night no one will ever forget.
October 25th, 1986. The streets of Boston were deserted. Everybody was focused on Shea Stadium in New York. The Boston Red Sox have been playing baseball for 95 years, and Game 6 of the 1986 World Series will forever be remembered as the heartbreaker of all heartbreakers. In the top of the 10th inning, thoughts of the Red Sox' first World Championship since 1918 danced in the heads of all New England. Dave Henderson hit what many thought to be the game-winning home run. The Sox led 4-3.
I kind of thought it was the closing chapter of the fairy tale.
Marty Barrett's RBI single made it 5-3. The Sox were 3 outs away from that elusive title. Their closer, Calvin Schiraldi, comes in to wrap it up. He gets the first hitter, Wally Bachman, to fly out to Jim Rice in left. 1 out. Keith Hernandez is up next, and he flies deep to center field. Henderson makes the catch. 2 down.
And the Mets are down to their last out.
And then the roof caves in on the Red Sox.
Lined into left field, base hit for Carter, and the Mets are still alive. Curveball, and that's going to be hit to center, base hit. And now suddenly with 2 out in the 10th inning, the tying runs are aboard, and Ray Knight will be the batter. And that's going to be hit into center field, base hit. Here comes Carter to score, and the tying run is at third. John McNamara goes to the mound. 5-4 Red Sox, and he's also going to the bullpen. He wants Bob Stanley to pitch to Mookie Wilson. And it's going to go to the backstop. Here comes Mitchell to score the tying run, and Ray Knight is at second base.
This was my dream. I wanted to be out there for the final out, but it didn't work out the way I wanted it to.
Little roller up along first, behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
As is the case with any historic moment, we all remember exactly where we were when it happened. And yes, we all remember exactly where we were when it happened.
I was home watching the ball game. I saw the ball go through Buckner's legs, and I said, oh, there goes our dreams.
I was watching on TV saying, oh no, how could this happen? And a fine broth of a lad, a former Dodger at that. I was 25 yards away from Billy Buckner in Shea Stadium, ready with a bottle of champagne cracked open, jumping up and down. 2 outs, 2 strikes. I'll never forget it as long as I live.
I was probably listening to the new Who album or something like that. But I remember on TV this like little round thing rolling between the guy's legs. Is that it?
Yeah, that was it.
Cool.
I was on the phone calling Joe up saying, listen, we got to get back together again.
Well, it happened. It's over. History has been recorded. We cannot undo it. We'll move on. But as we said last hour, Liz, I firmly believe that in our lifetime,
we'll see it.
We'll be celebrating together.
Yeah, I know Jack remembers where he was, though. You were there.
I was celebrating a birthday. I was at Shea Stadium. I was sitting right behind first base, and people went nuts, and I was ready to cry. I've never seen so many jerks in my life. And Shea Stadium was full of them.
And now you are rallying for the New York Yankees.
But you know, I
never
would have to say you emerged from your funk at least 3 or 4 years ago, I think.
But you haven't. Thanks a lot.
All right, Scott Wally, thank you. Coming up next, another Kennedy auction, but this one has a macabre touch.
And talk about cats and dogs. See this to believe it. Stay tuned.
We know this is probably the last thing you want to think about right now. So don't. Think about this. Jeep Grand Cherokee for only $349 a month. Or Jeep Cherokee Sport now just $299 a month. Both have Jeep's legendary 4-wheel drive system to get you through the deepest snow. So head over to your local Jeep and Eagle dealer today to take advantage of these deals. Then you won't ever have to think about this again.
See your New England Jeep and Eagle dealers.
At Pizzeria Uno, we've just created some new classics you've got to try.
Actually, I created them.
Like our buffalo chicken deep dish pizza, heaped with chicken, cheese, and buffalo sauce.
My idea.
And wait till you taste our spicy New Orleans pasta.
Inspired, isn't it?
So's our new grilled vegetable thin crust pizza. They're all made the Uno way, fresh and piled high. Yep, our chef sure is talented, but humble, he's not.
I'm working on it.
We make everything the Uno way.
Uno. Idiots! You have failed me.
Wasn't our fault. We had a Subaru Outback.
Outback?
Got better gas mileage than our Cherokee.
Held a turn tighter than our Blazer.
Brake better than our Explorer. Silence, fools. Just tell me what you need to catch him.
Our own Outback would be nice.
With a CD player and leather.
Subaru Outback, the world's first sport utility wagon.
Brawny paper towels have thirst pockets. Amazing pockets that make even the biggest, messiest spills disappear. Because every thirst pocket is made of 2 thirsty plies, and every sheet is covered end to end with them. Brawny with thirst pockets. Now, the only real mess you can get yourself into is not having any in the house.
Brawny, thirst pocket power.
Last winter was brutal, but we survived.
In our Mazda. 4-wheel drive.
Man, we plowed.
Lease a Cab Plus for $279, $1,000 down.
We survive in our Mazda MPV 4-wheel drive.
Gives you peace of mind.
Lease for as little as $339 a month, $1,000 down.
Winter's coming.
Oh, yeah. Offers end soon.
Breaking news from Washington, D.C. News4 has just learned that President Clinton just signed a declaration to send federal money to help relieve flood-stricken residents and businesses in Massachusetts. That order follows today's visits by James Lee Witt, who is the head of the Federal Emergency Management Agency.
There's an apology tonight to a former Boston School Committee member, and it all has to do with a TV ad, an ad for a group supporting an appointed school board. Now, one of the issues in Boston in this election is whether or not to keep a school committee whose members are appointed by the mayor. This is a heated issue. The TV ad showed images of several former school committee members with language referring to kickbacks, indictments, and convictions.
Fights, kickbacks, short-sighted policies that scarred our community.
One of those former school committee members shown in the ad is James Hennigan, a man with an unblemished record of public service. Today, the campaign manager of the Boston Education Reform Committee apologized to Hennigan.
We did not in any way intend to imply that Mr. Hennigan was involved in any wrongdoing during his public service career, and we apologize for any implications that he did so.
I appreciate you coming here today
to state to the public your position that Jim Hennigan's reputation is just as good today as it always has been.
A revised ad is now airing on Boston television stations. Another questioning from News 4's Dan Ray. The leaders of the committee acknowledged they did not preview the first nor the revised ad.
I hear you exactly, and I said there are some times in life as well that you rely upon the judgments of others, and in this particular case...
Who's seen the second ad?
Excuse me?
Who's seen the second ad?
Who has seen the...
Who's reviewed the second ad, the second version? You don't know who reviewed the first. Who's reviewed the second?
I don't know the specific individuals.
Mr. Fraser, do you know?
I do not know. I've made a commentary. I've heard the ad described to me.
As for his part, Hennigan hopes to hear directly from Boston Mayor Tom Menino, who supports the Boston Education Reform Committee's efforts to keep the school board appointed. Well, an ad agency in New York that had previously worked for the mayor produced both versions of the ad in question.
It is an eerie memento from one of America's darkest days. The entire Dow Jones ticker tape from November 22nd, 1963, the day President Kennedy was murdered. The tape shows routine market information until about 1:30 p.m. when a bulletin announces Kennedy has been shot. And yes, that tape is for sale. Sotheby's expects about $2,500 when it auctions the tape next month.
And how about this story? The newest tourist attraction in the nation's capital is a Howard Johnson's hotel room. It is the very same room that a Nixon operative used to manage the burglary at Watergate. The room, now called the Watergate Room, is restored to look just the way it did on that infamous night 24 years ago. But the only difference, back then, it cost $19 a night. Now, it'll run you $129. Well, coming up in a moment, a big weekend, and apparently we are in for a beauty.
Definitely. Bruce has a forecast next.
The Value Drive is on during Oldsmobile's Value Drive sales event. Make the smart choice with Cutlass Supreme, all the roominess, performance, and features you need. Plus, for a limited time, Oldsmobile is clearing out all remaining 96s. And with special factory-to-retailer incentives on new 97 models, you have an even greater opportunity to save. Cutlass Supreme by Oldsmobile. The Value Drive is on.
Now, lease Cutlass Supreme, just $259 a month.
Did you see it? Paula Lyons introduced us to Pete and Lorraine Charest. They'd hired a contractor to build a new driveway to make life a little easier, but it didn't.
The driveway has fallen apart.
He didn't do the job right and never fixed it.
So we knew we had to find another solution.
Did you know? After watching Paula's story, local contractors rebuilt the driveway for free. Watch Lyons on the Lookout on News 4 New England.
It's not easy making ends meet, and John Kerry is making it harder. Kerry made us pay more Social Security taxes, more gas taxes, more small business taxes. Kerry even increased taxes on senior health benefits. Now Kerry is talking about raising the retirement age on Social Security. And while Kerry makes us get by on less, he lived rent-free in a luxury apartment owned by a powerful lobbying executive. Free rent for him, higher taxes for us. Massachusetts deserves better.
When it comes to big plays, Leachmere wrote the book. One smart play after another.
Bill, it's time for Yellow Tag bonus savings. Save an extra $20 to $40 on already reduced Yellow Tag items. Save 33% off 31 and 32-inch big screen TVs. Save 40 to 50% off camcorders and home and car audio. And save 40 to 70% off computers, monitors, faxes, and printers. Yellow Tag bonus savings at Leachmere.
Hey, you just can't beat these guys.
How can I get through to you? I want the world to know that Hyundai is a whole new enchilada. But would you listen to me? No. But you listen to the Jackulous 1996 car book when they tell you that Hyundai is one of the lowest preventative maintenance costs in its class. Got your attention now? I think so. Then concentrate. With $1,000 cash back, the Accent is the most affordable car in America. Okay, are your minds finally open? Now, are you ready to get in and drive this baby? Get in the car. Now.
You're not going to believe this. Surrogacy heads into the animal world. Better take a look at these pictures. A A proud pop has adopted 4 kittens, and this pooch named Purdy has taken the adoption one step further. The dog actually is producing milk to feed her new family. And the kitten's real mom is taking it all in stride. She doesn't seem to mind one bit that a spotted mongrel has moved into the motherly role in the old cat family.
That's amazing that the real mom would just kind of say, okay, see you later.
A cool cat. Let's turn to Bruce now, get the weekend forecast.
Well, you know, first of all, it's going to be great weekend weather for just about any type of outdoor activity, for all of them. What the heck? Even if you go out in the boat. And if I go down at sea, you'll be able to see me. If I'm wearing this T-shirt, hey, we can see them 10 miles away. From the Energizer folks, change your clock, change your battery. And that's the story on Sunday as we set the clocks back 1 hour. And our forecast for Sunday calls for some fair skies as we check out the weather here in the northeast. Sunny slot, and it'll be with us tomorrow. It'll be a cool afternoon sea breeze. Generally, the wind's out of the northwest. 60 on the coast in the afternoon, 70 as you move further inland. And for the next 4 days, more of the same on Sunday, but some high thin clouds later Sunday. Chance of a shower early Monday, then partly sunny, then a shower, thunder shower late, and a cold front comes through. So not a heck of a lot of rain to worry about. We've had over a foot of water, more so than we should have at this time of year. So
a record in October.
Yes.
Thanks, Bruce.
Coming up tonight at 11 on News 4 New England, late information on federal flood relief for Massachusetts. And if you think you have the winning big game ticket, you'll want to tune in at 11.